Hello and welcome back, Coach Bill's Sports Show. I'm Coach Bill. We go through college football, fantasy football, pretty much anything football related. We break down some plays. We'll be getting into that here in a little bit later. And hopefully, if I can figure out how to do it, we're going to be playing some NCAA football here. Maybe go through my team or, see if I can win a Heisman as a quarterback. Anyways, let's get it started. Let's huddle up and let's get into it. All right. Today's show is all about offenses I want a piece of in every draft I'm in for fantasy football. There's a few offenses in the league that you just need to make sure you have a piece of. You're going to see people focus on players and not offenses as much. I like to make sure I focus on a couple offenses every year to make sure I get at least a taste of it. Last year that really helped me out with T. Higgins. He's going to be on Cincinnati's probably going to be on my list this year. Got a little bit of Buffalo last year, which definitely was helpful. Allen carried my team a couple weeks. So that's what I'm saying when I'm looking, if I'm making decisions between two players that are similar. I won't say they're equal, but they're similar. I look to see whose offense they're in and which offense I want more of a bite of. So let's get into it. First up, I already said it, Cincinnati. Joe Burrow, top 5 quarterback this season. Just going ahead and saying it, top 5 quarterback this season. He has 2 top 15 wide receivers in Higgins and wide receiver 1A, 1B, depending on how you like it, Jamar Chase. Top 10 running back in mixing. Solid tight ends. And that offensive line is improved. That division is wide open. Lamar stays healthy, it's a little bit tougher. If Watson doesn't get suspended, which, let's face it, I think everybody expects him to get suspended, adds a little bit of toughness to it. Outside of that, those 2 scenarios, it's fairly easy. And that's hard to say about that division. It's a tough division year in and year out. But this year just feels like it's Cincinnati and everybody else in that division. You're going to have to keep up with them offensively. Just too much firepower. I haven't even mentioned Boyd, who is their 3rd wide receiver, who could outrun most players on the field in a given week. So it's hard for me to miss a draft to go through a draft where I don't pick a Cincinnati player. Even if it's a backup, even if it's a 4th wide receiver and I end up grabbing Boyd, I want a piece of it. I want a piece of Cincinnati. Another team I want a piece of, LA Chargers. Once again, young quarterback, strong young quarterback. You got wide receivers, Keenan Allen. He could be a wide receiver. He could be the wide receiver 1 this year. He's that good. I think he's bounced around my rankings between 3, 2, and 1. That's where I have him. I'm high on him this year. Eckler is a wonderful pass-catching running back, and he can run the ball too. Another improved offensive line through the draft and free agency. The LA Chargers are just one of those offenses that have a gunslinger and they know it. And they're going to push the ball to prove it. Plus, in that division, you're going to have to score points. I could literally just put all four of the teams, the Chargers, the Raiders, Kansas City, and Denver, on this list, because that division, not conference, division, you got to score points in. Got to. Speaking of that division, I do have Kansas City, and Las Vegas on this list. So let's go through Kansas City first. Patrick Mahomes is what he is. I don't think anybody in this world is going to deny Patrick Mahomes now. Yes, I understand they lost Tyreek Hill, and that's a big blow. That is a big blow. But the addition of Juju, the depth they've had at wide receiver, you still got Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. You got a nice grouping of running backs right there that can catch the ball out of the backfield and run. It's another, and again, you're going to have to score points in this division. It's another one I want a piece of. Las Vegas as well. Carr, for me, is going to have a really good year. He has another wide receiver that could be a number one wide receiver in the league, and Devontae Adams. Darren Waller is a top three wide receiver, top three tight end. Between him, Mark Andrews, and Travis Kelce, one of those three is going to be the top tight end. You telling me a quarterback has both of those and plays in this division where you've got to score points. I don't know how much I can stress this. You have to score points in that division this year. Plus, they've put some work into the offensive line. I want a little bit of all three of those teams. LA Charger, Las Vegas, and Kansas City. I want something from all of them. If, best case scenario, I get a piece from all of them that's a solid piece of it, I'm a happy camper. Because I know every given week, points are going to be put on the board. Speaking of points going on the board, LA Rams. The LA Rams are the Super Bowl champs. Their coach has come up with some of the most interesting play designs, and we'll get into some of that later. But some of the most interesting play designs and route combinations I've seen in years. Not to mention, top 10 quarterback, deep running back, probably a top 5, top 6 wide receiver core as a group in the league. It's going to be very hard for me to go through a draft and not have a piece of the LA Rams. Another one that's going to be very hard for me not to have a piece of is Minnesota. Kirk Cousins is one of the quarterbacks on a previous that I said I want to get. You've got deep wide receiver room with one of the best wide receivers in the game, Justin Jefferson. It's just that division is wide open. New offensive coordinator. He wants to make his mark on the team, on the league. There's just so much talent there that I need to have a piece of it. Whether that's Irv Smith at tight end as a backup tight end just in case. Maybe that's Thielen as a wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. If I'm lucky enough to get Cook as a RB1, RB2. Depending on the league, how the setup is, obviously. If I'm lucky enough to get Cook as an RB2, I'm very happy. And I'm very sad for the people I'm drafting with. Anyways, it's just one of the ones I want a piece of. Buffalo is the other one. Is the last one I want a piece of. Guaranteed I want a piece of is Buffalo. Allen is a big, strong quarterback, and he runs the ball. Not to mention good tight end play. Diggs is a phenomenal wide receiver, and he's not alone up there. Gabriel Davis, thank you very much for last season. Won me a couple bucks. There is a lot to be impressed with in Buffalo, and a lot to look forward in Buffalo. If you can figure out who's going to be the starter for running back, there's a lot of points there up for grab. Problem with is nobody's really stepped up to take that spot, so it's a little bit of a gamble. Outside of that, we know who wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 is. We know who the tight end is. We know who the quarterback is. And all 4 of them are solid fantasy options. So yeah, I want a piece. If I can get it, I want a piece. Now, obviously, you can't get every piece of all these, but still, if you can get a piece of a couple of them, it's what you want. I do have an honorable mention, and it's strictly because I don't know what they have at quarterback. The 49ers. If Trey Lance does what I think he will do this season and be along the lines of a rookie year Cam Newton, the 49ers are a team I want a piece of. You can never tell who they're going to have as starting running back. The only real pass-catching weapons you can have faith in are the wide receiver, whose name is escaping me right now, and Kittle at tight end. Outside of that, you don't know who's going to hit, but somebody's going to hit from that team almost every week. You just hope it's your guy that week. And that's why I have him as a borderline. Like, it's just so hard to predict who's in what position and who's really going to get that work that week. They're more of a, I want a piece of them in daily fantasy football, where I can get a new team every week and play the hot hand. But it is what it is with the 49ers. I do see some good things from Trey Lance, watching a couple of the scouting reports, videos, and stuff like that I've seen, and reading some of the reports from camp. I think he's going to be okay. But thinking he's going to be okay and seeing him be okay on the field are two separate things. Again, these are just the offenses that I know I want to have at least a piece of when I'm drafting in fantasy football. I think that helps me split the hairs between players that are similar and allows me to make clear and concise choices when I draft. And that's, you don't ever want to leave a draft thinking, oh, I could have done this or I could have done that. You want to leave your draft happy with the team you drafted and looking forward to the season. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. If you think there's an offense I'm missing, put it down in the comments below. Let's have a conversation. Let's see where I missed. If there's a team maybe I'm missing something on, please let me know. The more that we work together, the better off we'll all be. Thank you for watching. Ready, break.